The Great Lakes, 5 vast, mysterious bodies of water that have shaped the history and culture of North America for centuries. If you've ever looked out over them, you know the feeling, a mix of awe and curiosity as you gaze into what seems like an endless expanse. But what most people don't realize is that these lakes are more than just water. Beneath their surface lies a hidden world of ancient ruins, magnetic anomalies, ghost ships, and stories that seem too wild to be true. Today we're diving deep, peeling back the layers of mystery and exploring the secrets buried below. So if you're ready for a journey into the unknown, let's uncover the mysteries of the Great Lakes. Chapter 1. The Underwater Stone Circles of Lake Michigan, an ancient enigma. Let's start with one of the most talked about mysteries, the stone formations discovered deep in Lake Michigan. Back in 2007, researchers using sonar to search for shipwrecks came across something unexpected, a series of large stones arranged in a circle at the bottom of the lake. At first, they thought it was just a natural rock formation, but as they studied it more, they realized that these stones seemed to be placed with purpose. In other words, this wasn't just nature at work. It looked like someone, or something, had carefully arranged these stones deep beneath what we now know as Lake Michigan. Think about that. If these stones were placed in a formation by human hands, then it means they're ancient. And by ancient, I'm talking about thousands of years old, back to a time when the lake bed was still dry land during the last ice age. One of the stones even has a carving on it that looks remarkably like a mastodon, a creature that went extinct around 10,000 years ago. This underwater Stonehenge raises some huge questions. Who could have built it, and what for? Some researchers think it might have been used as a ceremonial site or even as a kind of astronomical calendar, marking the passing seasons or certain celestial events, but others believe it might have an even deeper purpose, a portal, perhaps, to the spirit world, or a place where ancient civilizations gathered to connect with forces we can only imagine. And yet, even with all these questions, this site hasn't received much study. It's as if the mystery is too inconvenient, too challenging to our accepted history. Why are we so hesitant to explore this? Are we afraid of what we might find? Chapter 2. The Lost Civilization Beneath Lake Ontario, Sunken Ruins and Hidden History. Now, let's move east to Lake Ontario, where divers have been reporting for years that there's something unusual beneath the waves. Some say there are ruins down there, stone structures with distinct, almost geometric patterns that look far too orderly to be the result of natural processes. These aren't just rocks thrown together, they look like the foundations of an ancient settlement submerged beneath Lake Ontario's waters. What's fascinating is that these underwater structures seem to hint at a culture that existed long before the waters rose, back when the lake beds were dry. Some believe this could be evidence of a lost civilization, a group of people who might have lived and thrived here before the lakes filled in with glacial meltwater thousands of years ago. The Iroquois have legends about ancient cities and people who lived around the lakes long before European settlers arrived, and they tell of powerful spirits and forces connected to the lake's waters. Could these legends be based on something real? Could these sunken structures be the remnants of a culture so old that it predates any known Native American civilization? But here's the thing, mainstream institutions have largely dismissed these findings, calling them natural formations. No official dives, no archaeological studies. It's as if acknowledging these structures would be too disruptive to our understanding of history. Why isn't there more interest in what could be one of the most significant archaeological sites in North America? Chapter 3. The Shipwreck Graveyard, Ghost Ships of the Great Lakes. The Great Lakes are home to thousands of shipwrecks, an estimated 6,000 vessels that have met their fate in these waters. But here's the thing, these aren't just regular wrecks. Some of them are surrounded by stories of eerie events, ghostly apparitions, and disappearances that defy explanation. One of the most famous wrecks is the Edmund Fitzgerald, a massive freighter that went down in Lake Superior in 1975. Now, this wasn't just any boat, it was one of the largest ships on the lakes. But on a stormy night in November, it vanished without a distress signal, taking all 29 crew members with it. To this day, no one knows exactly why it sank, and there are those who believe it wasn't just a storm. Some say Lake Superior itself has a dark power, a malevolent force that claims ships when the conditions are just right. And then there's the Le Griffon, built by the French explorer La Salle in 1679, the first European ship to sail the Great Lakes. But after its maiden voyage, it disappeared without a trace, taking its crew and cargo with it. La Salle searched desperately, but never found a single piece of his ship. Even today, treasure hunters and historians are still searching for it, some convinced it was cursed, some believing it's hidden in a place the lakes won't let us find. If you talk to people who've spent their lives around the Great Lakes, you'll hear stories of ghost ships, vessels seen drifting in the fog, glimpsed only for a moment before disappearing. Sailors speak of ships from another era, their forms hazy and spectral, lost souls forever trapped in the lakes. Could these be echoes of past tragedies, or is there something else out there, some force in the lakes that holds onto the memory of those it has taken? Chapter 4. The Lake Michigan Triangle, Disappearances and Strange Phenomena. We've all heard of the Bermuda Triangle, but did you know that Lake Michigan has its own triangle known for disappearances and strange events, stretching from Manitowoc, Wisconsin to Ludington, Michigan, and down to Benton Harbor, Michigan? The Lake Michigan Triangle has been the site of numerous vanishings, unexplained sightings, and bizarre events. One of the most famous cases occurred in 1950 when Northwest Airlines Flight 2501 disappeared over the triangle with 58 people on board. Despite an intensive search, no wreckage was ever found, and to this day, the disappearance remains one of the Great Lakes' greatest mysteries. But Flight 2501 isn't an isolated incident. There are countless stories of boats, small planes, and even people who vanished without a trace within this region. What's causing these disappearances? Some scientists think it could be powerful magnetic anomalies that disrupt navigation, while others believe there might be an undercurrent of electromagnetic energy in the area. But there's also a wilder theory. Some believe the Lake Michigan Triangle could be a gateway to another dimension, a portal that occasionally opens and swallows anyone who ventures too close. It's easy to dismiss these ideas as fantasy, but when you listen to people who've experienced strange things in the triangle, it's hard to ignore. Pilots and sailors report sudden disorientation, strange lights hovering over the water, and compass malfunctions that leave them drifting aimlessly. Could this area really be a gateway to somewhere else? A place where the rules of reality don't quite apply? Chapter 5. The Strange Magnetic Anomalies. Forces we can't see. Now, let's dig into the science a little, because the Great Lakes aren't just known for disappearances and ghost ships. They're also home to some of the strangest magnetic anomalies in North America. If you're navigating certain areas of the lakes, you might notice your compass start to spin erratically, or your instruments acting up for no apparent reason. These electromagnetic disturbances are particularly strong in places like Lake Michigan and Lake Ontario, and they've baffled scientists for years. Some researchers think these anomalies could be the result of iron deposits or magnetic rocks beneath the lake bed, but others suggest there could be an unknown energy source, or even an ancient magnetic field buried deep below, something that's been lying dormant for thousands of years. Here's where it gets really interesting. Some people who've experienced these magnetic anomalies firsthand report feeling off, as if something's messing with their senses. Pilots have told stories of losing track of time, while sailors describe feeling a heavy pressure in the air, almost like the lake itself is charged with energy. Imagine if there's a hidden force beneath these waters, a power we don't yet understand, affecting the very physics of the area. And then there are the theories that go even further, suggesting these anomalies might be connected to something ancient, something that could have been harnessed by a lost civilization. It sounds like science fiction, but if you're out there on the lake and your compass starts to act up, it doesn't feel so far-fetched. Chapter 6. The Mysterious Underwater Tunnels and Cave Networks. One of the most enduring rumors about the Great Lakes is the existence of hidden underwater tunnels and caves connecting the lakes, and possibly even linking them to other bodies of water. There are whispers of ancient passageways that run beneath the lake bed, perhaps even stretching as far as the Atlantic Ocean. Some divers and researchers claim to have seen glimpses of these tunnels, dark and massive, carved out in ways that defy easy explanation. So how did these tunnels come to be? Some believe they were formed by ancient glaciers that once covered North America, slowly carving out channels and leaving behind a network of tunnels. But then, there's a more intriguing theory, that these tunnels were created intentionally, perhaps by an advanced civilization that predates recorded history. Imagine if these passageways were part of a vast transportation network, allowing early civilizations to travel between the lakes or even to escape rising waters at the end of the last ice age. For now, these tunnels remain mostly unexplored. Divers who've tried to navigate them report a feeling of immense pressure and disorientation, like they're being watched or pulled deeper. Some even say that once you enter, the tunnels seem to go on forever, with no clear way out. Are these tunnels remnants of a lost society, or simply geological oddities? And why does it feel like they're waiting to be discovered? Chapter 7: Lake Erie's UFO sightings and strange lights. The Great Lakes aren't just known for their underwater mysteries, they're also a hotbed of UFO activity, especially Lake Erie. Residents along the lake's shoreline have reported sightings of strange lights and unidentified flying objects for decades. These aren't just quick flashes or unconfirmed rumors. Many of these sightings have been documented by multiple witnesses and even captured on camera. In one of the most famous cases from 1988, a large glowing object was seen hovering over Lake Erie. The object reportedly changed colors and then disappeared below the surface of the lake, leaving onlookers stunned. This wasn't an isolated event either. Similar sightings have been reported in the years since, with some claiming they've seen objects flying out of the water or hovering just above it. Skeptics say the lights could be gas flares or reflections, but others believe there's something more going on. Maybe even an underwater base hidden within the lake. Could extraterrestrial beings be using Lake Erie as a hiding spot? And if so, what are they doing there? The sightings have led some to believe that Lake Erie and perhaps the other Great Lakes hold secrets that go far beyond anything we're prepared to understand. Chapter 8: The Great Lakes Suppressed Archaeological Discoveries. Let's shift gears a bit and talk about the artifacts found around the Great Lakes. Stone tools, pottery shards, and ancient carvings that hint at human activity dating back thousands of years. Some of these finds don't quite fit with the conventional timeline of human history in North America, suggesting that people might have lived here much earlier than previously thought. But here's the problem. Many of these artifacts have been quietly dismissed by mainstream institutions. They're labeled as out of place or attributed to natural causes. There are even stories of significant finds that have been hushed up, relics that were discovered and then mysteriously vanished from public view. Why would anyone want to suppress these discoveries? Some speculate that the artifacts don't fit the accepted historical narrative, and acknowledging them would force us to rewrite a major part of North American history. If the Great Lakes region was inhabited by an advanced culture thousands of years ago, it would raise questions about who these people were, where they came from, and what they might have left behind. Could it be that beneath the lake beds lie the remains of a civilization whose story has been deliberately erased? Chapter 9: The Great Lakes Atlantis, Submerged Ancient Structures in Lake Huron. One of the most fascinating discoveries in recent years has been the submerged land bridge beneath Lake Huron, known as the Alpena-Amberley Ridge. During the last ice age, this ridge was above water, connecting different parts of North America. Archaeologists exploring the area have found what appear to be stone structures, arranged in lines, possibly used by prehistoric hunters to herd animals like caribou. This isn't just a random pile of rocks. These are carefully placed structures, showing that early humans here had a sophisticated understanding of their environment. They knew how to shape the land to suit their needs, creating what might be one of the earliest examples of organized hunting grounds in North America. Some researchers even believe this ridge could be part of a larger hidden settlement, an Atlantis of the Great Lakes, if you will. If an entire community once lived here, then their remains and artifacts could be lying just beneath the sediment, waiting for someone to uncover their story. It's a discovery that could change the way we think about prehistoric North America. And yet, despite its significance, there's been surprisingly little excavation or exploration of this area. Why? Is there something here that's not meant to be found? Chapter 10. Theories of a pre-Ice Age civilization, the original builders of the Great Lakes. This theory might be the most controversial of all, the idea that a pre-Ice Age civilization once inhabited the Great Lakes region, building structures and leaving behind traces of their existence before the glaciers reshaped the landscape. Some researchers suggest that the Great Lakes weren't always lakes. They were originally vast river valleys, rich in resources and ideal for human settlement. If true, this would mean that human activity in the Great Lakes region goes back tens of thousands of years, well before any known civilization in North America. It raises the possibility of an entire culture wiped out by the glaciers, their knowledge and achievements lost beneath the ice and water. Evidence supporting this theory includes not just the stone structures in Lake Huron, but also certain carvings and petroglyphs found along the shores of the lakes that don't match any known Native American culture. Could these carvings be messages from an ancient people, warnings or markers left for future generations? If such a civilization did exist, then the Great Lakes would be one of the oldest inhabited areas in North America, home to a forgotten culture that once thrived before disappearing under the weight of ice and time. Chapter 11. The Government Cover-Up Theory. Secrets of the Great Lakes. And now, we come to one of the most intriguing theories. The idea that there's an intentional effort to suppress knowledge about the Great Lakes mysteries. Conspiracy theorists argue that certain government agencies and scientific institutions may be hiding the truth, keeping discoveries under wraps to maintain the accepted version of history. There are stories of divers who were stopped from exploring certain areas, researchers who were denied permits without explanation, and reports of entire zones within the lakes being restricted. Could it be that someone, somewhere, knows what lies beneath these waters and has decided that we're better off not knowing? Some believe this cover-up is about protecting economic interests. If, for instance, there were ancient artifacts or ruins beneath the lakes, it could lead to calls for preservation efforts, impacting shipping routes and industries. Others think the secrecy is about more than just money. It's about control. By limiting what we know about the past, certain groups might be able to influence how we understand our place in the world. It's a chilling thought, but if the Great Lakes really are a vault of forgotten knowledge, who holds the key and what are they hiding? Chapter 12. The Paranormal Presence, Hauntings and Mystical Forces. The Great Lakes aren't just mysterious because of what's beneath them. There are countless stories of hauntings and paranormal encounters around the shores. Locals talk of strange sounds echoing over the water at night, of ghostly figures appearing along the shorelines, and of places where time itself seems to warp. In some parts of Lake Superior, there are areas that Native American tribes have considered sacred for centuries. These are places where the boundaries between the living and the spirit world are said to be thin, where ancient spirits watch over the waters and protect their secrets. Sailors and fishermen have spoken of feeling an unnatural chill, of seeing shadows move across the water even on clear nights. One of the eeriest phenomena is what locals call the Lady in the Lake, a ghostly figure seen floating on the water's surface near certain shorelines. Some believe she's the spirit of a woman who drowned in one of the shipwrecks, forever bound to the lake. Others think she's a guardian spirit, protecting something hidden beneath the water. Whatever she is, her presence is a reminder that the lakes are more than just bodies of water. They're places where past and present, life and death seem to intersect. The Great Lakes are vast, beautiful, and powerful, but as we've seen, they're also full of mysteries that stretch beyond our understanding. From ancient stone formations to sunken cities, from magnetic anomalies to UFO sightings, the Great Lakes seem to defy explanation, and perhaps that's what makes them so captivating. Maybe we're not meant to uncover all their secrets, or maybe someday someone will finally find the key that unlocks them. But until that day comes, the Great Lakes will continue to keep their mysteries close, hiding the truths of a forgotten world beneath their depths. So what do you think? Are the Great Lakes hiding ancient civilizations, supernatural forces, or maybe even a portal to another world? Until next time, remember, some of the greatest mysteries are right beneath our feet, just waiting for someone to look a little closer.